Hi, everyone. So, we're going to go into a case study of a 6-month-old that I sleep trained a few years ago. And I wanted to just kind of like give you an overview of what it looks like when you're going to walk in and sleep train a baby. So, first off, like I mentioned in my last video, if you did not watch it, go back to it. It will explain the fundamentals and kind of the first time what to expect. When I go into a home, I give them my plan. They start implementing it the day that I'm going to start sleep training. So it all kind of just flows. I was asked to fly out to Washington, D.C. to do a sleep training job with a 6-month-old who had had reflux for the first 6 months. When we're asked to go in and the baby has been sick or had reflux or colic, we always want to get approval from the doctor to make sure that the doctor is saying it's okay and that they're not failure to thrive. The baby must be healthy when we are going to train. You never ever sleep train a sick baby. So this baby now had everything under control. His reflux was pretty much non-existent. He was eating well during the day. They just couldn't handle any crying because they were traumatized. And I mean, it makes sense, right? From the first 6 months of him being so sick. And they told me they had to wear him all the time. Each parent took turns throughout the night and they would baby wear him, or not supposed to, but they'd like sit in a chair with him. But I get it, right? We do whatever we can as a parent to get our baby safe and sleeping and like help us sleep. So I said, sure, no problem. I'll go in. And I arrived, and whenever I arrive on these jobs, I never know who's going to pick me up. It's probably something I should be aware of. But the dad picked me up, and then he talked to me like kind of what they went through. And I like doing that when I'm going into and working with parents. I like getting both point of views because mom and dad or parents, they each have what they went through is different. It's different for the main caregiver, the mother or the dad who's the main caregiver. It's very emotional. It's a different mindset than the other secondary parent. When I say secondary, I'm being nice here because like sometimes we have the worker parent, right, who's going away and going working, and the parent that's left 24/7 with a sick baby. It's really a mental health game. It's the lack of sleep. You're in tears all the time. You're angry. A lot of divorces happen because we can't handle the stress, or we have suicidal thoughts. And I'm going to be dead honest with you. We all have suicidal thoughts when we're stressed and have mental issues, right? So hiring somebody like to come into your home and train your baby is like life-saving. Like I always tell people, I'm like a Mary Poppins. I come in, I fix it, give them my spoonful of advice and sugar, and I leave and the baby's sleeping. So I arrived at this home and the baby was so cute. He was in overalls. I remember seeing him and he was adorable. He's on the floor playing. And it's kind of weird as a sleep trainer. We kind of have to be a chameleon. We kind of have to just walk in and we just kind of observe and we kind of blend in with the wall, kind of say. And I ask questions. It's so important that we know what we're doing and walking into. So I'm always asking questions. And so this is what I did with this family. And the mom was super excited I was there. They asked what I wanted to eat. They really just kind of catered to me because they were like, okay, we'll do whatever it takes to get our baby sleeping. So I'm like, I arrived at 4 p.m. and so bedtime is at 7. So we had a few hours to play with him. He was getting fussy. And this is when I said, okay, so he's 6 months. When did he last nap? Well, he had napped just before I arrived. So I was like, he can take probably a 10 or 20 minute nap if you want to right now at 5:30. And she was like, okay, so she baby weared him, which is fine. That last nap can be a baby wear. And he didn't sleep, but he was content, which was fine. So we implemented bath at 6:15. Then we went upstairs and he got dressed in his nursery. They sing a song to him and the room was like, the curtains are covered. It was nice and calm. And she was like, so what do I do next? So I was like, okay, go ahead and feed the bottle because at this point he was bottle fed. And so she sat down and like turned down dim the lights more. And then we turned on the sound machine and she sat in the chair and she rocked him and she fed him the bottle. And so I was like, okay, we're good. She burped him. He took the whole 6 ounces. And then she was like, what's next? And I'm like, okay, now we're going to put him in the crib. This case, we didn't have a sleep sack. You can use a sleep sack if you want, but he hadn't been in one, so I wasn't going to change that. What was different about tonight was that they had never done this routine. This was something that was in my notebook that I gave them before I started and said, this is what I want you to do. So they went in, basically she got up and put him in the crib. And I told her, I said, okay, let's go ahead and leave the room. I went out of the room with her and he started to like fuss. And I'm saying fuss. He wasn't crying. It was like, eh. So I let him fuss. And then he started to like get a little bit more of a whimper and a little louder. And then mom all of a sudden had this like, she started crying. And I looked at her and I said, he's okay. There's nothing wrong. He's not crying. He's just making sound. He's talking. Like it wasn't even like a cry. It was just right? But mom's stress could not handle it because of what they went through. It was like basically, we all have one of PTSD, right? When you're in a traumatic event. So I had to calm her down. But in the meantime, guess what he did? See, mom was so worked up and I had to rub her back. I was like trying to calm her down. We had the baby monitor in front of us. You know what he did? He fell asleep. In that time frame that she was really upset, he fell asleep. And she's like, he's never done that. And I was like, well, when we don't give the baby a chance and never offered it, you don't know what he's going to do. So it was quite shocking to the parents. Actually, the dad wasn't there yet. Mom and I were there, and she was like, this is amazing. And I was like, well, let's give it a few seconds because they're probably going to wake up again. So he went to sleep, and they had given me a blow-up mattress in the room. And this story gets hilarious. So I told her, I'm like, okay, you go to bed. You're exhausted. You're stressed. Like, relax. If you hear anything, you're welcome to get up and get me. I'll be in the room with him on the blow-up mattress. So I went in the room and I had my scrubs on for the night, which I wear when I'm working. And I literally sat in the middle of the mattress trying not to make any sound. And a big woman like myself laying down on a mattress, it was like squeaky, squeaky, squeak. So I was so afraid he was going to wake up, of course. And I read books when I'm on these jobs because I need to stay awake and be alert when he's making movement. So I was like, okay. So I'm trying not to move. So I look like Squidward, not Squidward. What is it? The starfish. All right. Anyways, I look like something. And I'm like, I'm not going to move. And lo and behold, the mattress starts to go. Yeah. So now I'm crawling off of this mattress as it's deflating and I'm making all this sound. And I'm like, oh my goodness, please do not wake up. And I'm like crawling to the door and I crawl and there's the mom's face because she couldn't go to bed. She was crying still. And I literally started laughing so hard. I had to like move her out of the way so I could get out of the room. And we both were dying laughing on the floor. You guys, this happens. To this day, I still laugh about this job. It literally was the craziest. Okay, back to the story. He woke up that first night, he woke up at 1:00 or something like that, or near there. And I let him be, and he didn't really make a lot of sound, but I said I would offer a bottle. So I offered a bottle and he didn't want it. I'm like, okay, this child does not need to eat because he didn't want it. He took 1 ounce out of a 4-ounce bottle. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to push it. Put him back to bed and he went right to sleep. I'm like, okay, so this job is pretty easy. Get up in the morning, woke him up at 7 because we have to wake him up in the morning, of course, to keep him on routine. Mom was so shocked. She's like, I can't believe he did this. Like, he's never done this. Well, because they never gave it to him. They never offered it. So the next day, great routine, did his 3 naps, ate well, like really happy baby. Slept till 4 a.m. that night. and didn't want a bottle. I just put my hand on him, went to sleep. The third night, I was there 5 nights. The third night, didn't even wake at all. On the fourth day, she's like, would you like to go to the mall for like 6 hours? Because you can go, I'm going to do the schedule myself and see how he does. I'm like, absolutely. Took the car, went to the mall. And then it came back and she goes, oh, we got your ticket. You can leave tonight. I'm like, okay, I want to go home anyways. Moral of the story, if we never give our child the chance to sleep, how are we going to know? This was a very easy case, but a very dramatic event happened prior. So, yes, it's funny. There was things that happened. I mean, I was obviously, being a sleep trainer, you get into situations. This is just one case. But I want to tell you guys, as a parent, you've got to give your child a chance to achieve sleep. So I hope you enjoyed this story and this case, and I will go more into detail in another case soon. So if you like the video you just watched and you want to see more, please subscribe below and you'll get notified as soon as we have uploaded more videos. If you are looking for support directly, one-on-one, go to our website at www.newbornsleepcompany and we'll be happy to help you.